So, some breaking news just came in, and shout out to my subscriber Jamal Bay for linking this article to me. And I know y'all are probably cracking up at this screen that's just moving with Bill Cosby making this face. And there's a reason why I chose this one, because I wanted to pick one of him smiling or making some kind of goofy gesture because of the news that just came out. So, I don't know how it happened, but I'm glad that it did. This is one step in the right direction, but I'm not going to get too excited with what is about to happen. But before I go into it, I am currently recording this video on June 23rd, 2020, and I will upload it the next day, or by the time you see it, it'll be today because it's a huge story. But I would upload it on the day that I recorded it, but I already had my other videos lined up and I couldn't find a way to squeeze that one in. So, in case y'all have not heard, and this news just came out about 30 minutes ago, by the time you see this, you'll already have heard it, and I'll probably get so many emails and tagged and everything like that. But Bill Cosby has been granted an appeal in the sex assault case that has him in jail right now. Time coming to even get to an appeal. It has taken so long. Like I said, I don't know what happened or what strings were pulled, but I'm glad those strings were pulled. And they must have been some pretty tight strings to pull, but they must have pulled the right ones. So the article reads, comedian Bill Cosby has won the right to fight his 2018 sexual assault conviction before the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. The 82-year-old Cosby has been in prison in suburban Philadelphia for nearly 2 years after a jury convicted him of drugging and sexually assaulting a woman in 2004. He's serving a 3 to 10-year sentence. And someone let me know down in the comments, do you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can actually get an appeal, or you can just do it right then and there? Because I feel like and the reason I asked that is because, they did so much shady shit when it came to Bill Cosby that they didn't do with anybody else. Truth be told, they're doing it with R. Kelly as well. The Supreme Court has agreed to review two aspects of the case that Cosby lawyers challenged on appeal. The first involves the judge's decision to let prosecutors call 5 other accusers and introduce evidence that Cosby had given quaaludes to women in the past. And the court will examine Cosby's argument that he had an agreement with a former prosecutor that he'd never be charged in the case. Cosby says he relied on that agreement before agreeing to testify in the trial's accuser's civil lawsuit. Now, that's all the news that has come from that. Like I said, it's a brand new story. It came out less than an hour ago. Again, shout out to my subscriber Jamal Bay for sending me this. This has been something we have been talking about. It's crazy because when I got the link to this article, before I even pressed record, I put it onto my Twitter account. So those who follow me on Twitter have already seen the article, so you already know what I'm about to discuss. And the very first person that I tagged in this post was Nicole's View, because as we all know, out of everybody who does the kind of commentary that we do, she was probably the only one who really stuck on this case. You know how I pick certain stories that I like to stay on top of and give updates and everything. She went above and beyond because she actually was like our eyes and ears. Because remember, when the trial was going on, she actually went to the courthouse and actually sat in and listened and came back and reported to us what was going on, or at least how much she could tell. But that was simply amazing. So I'm almost guaranteeing that she's going to talk about this possibly in the form of a live stream between the time of me recording this video and by the time this video gets uploaded. So I'm predicting she's going to definitely be discussing this very, 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 very soon, rather than much later, of course. But that's the only update right now so far. Like I said, let's not get too excited. We have to make sure that the appeal actually goes through and actually win the appeal. But the hard part is over as far as them getting the appeal, because that took forever and we didn't think it was going to happen. It was like, you know what? If Bill Cosby just has to do a sentence, let him do a sentence. But however, if he dies in that prison, we know whose hands it was by. But this is definitely a step in the right direction. Shout out to his lawyers and his attorneys who worked tirelessly. Like I can only imagine what they had to go through in order to even get this appeal. Because that's why I said that they had to probably pull a lot of strings to get this to happen, because they went for Bill Cosby. This is what you call a courtroom lynching. Like, I've never seen anything quite like that before, and I've lived through quite a few court cases in my lifetime and seen things from a distance, but nothing quite like this. Like, they changed laws to get this man. They removed statute of limitations to get this man. Remember, I just recently did a video about Danny Masterson from That 70s Show, who they have charged with raping two or three women back in 2001 to 2003, but then they said something, oh, we couldn't do this and that because of statute of limitations. But they reached further back, mind you. With Bill Cosby, his stuff was from 2004, which was a year after Danny Masterson's situation. So, and when you think about it, when it happened with Bill Cosby, that dates backward to 2014 when they started really going after him, which is 10 years. Danny Masterson, his would have been, let me get the math right, 9 years, I believe, for that 2003. But now it's outside of the statute of limitations. But with Bill Cosby, not only did they reach back to 2004, but they reached back to what, the 70s and 60s, which is way outside of the statute of limitations. But they did whatever they could. You had that Kevin Steele, I think his name is Kevin Steele or something like that, who ran his campaign on promising to convict Bill Cosby. So, like I said, they pulled all kinds of strings to get this man in jail. Well, hopefully they can pull all the strings for him to win this appeal. And I don't know what that's going to mean for him. Hopefully he'll be able to get out of jail, and so he can just go on with his life. I know that Gloria Allred and that Lisa Bloom are probably pissed right now. They are shaking in whatever red clothing she got on right now, and I hope they are too. I hope she's somewhere crying about this, or she probably gonna be somewhere saying, oh, this is such an outrage. I already know that evil bitch. But that's really all I have for this little update right here. Now that looks like we're gonna be following this all over again, or at least I know Nicole is gonna be following, and she's gonna be on top of it like we already know. So if you don't get that many updates from me, which you should, considering this is very good information, is brand new, you can definitely rely on her, because I definitely know she's gonna speak on this in its entirety.